All right, let's talk some Justin Fields. I find it to be a very interesting situation, right? Because I think that there's definitely a way you could swing this and say another bad performance by Justin Fields. Look at the numbers. Passer rating of just a 70.8. His Pro Football Focus grade was actually the third worst grade he's had of the season, only ahead of the Cleveland and Tampa Bay game. And it was actually the second worst passing grade he had, just ahead of, the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Although I have a couple of thoughts on that. One, I wonder how much of that was just sort of towards the end. The strategy got very different, and I thought that he played much better once his team was in it. Once it kind of became clear they were out of it. How much did that affect both of those two statistics? I don't know. Also, you look at his passer rating, it's actually around what it's been at for his season. And I think the final point is, well, who cares? The goal isn't for him to be a great quarterback today. The goal is for him to be a great quarterback in a couple of years. And I think he made some improvements in doing that. So that's why I'm going to kind of fight back against that a bit. I thought he played well in this game. I saw some stuff that I liked. You're starting to see not more consistency, but you're seeing more flashes. And that's what you want to see, because you hope that you get the high highs, and then you hope the consistency follows, which I think is what you want. Logically, at least, it makes sense that you can make these great plays. Eventually, you'll get the solid stuff down and become a good quarterback. So I know the numbers weren't great, but I thought that the actual tape was a lot better. He made some really impressive throws. Some not great plays as well, but let's just get into it. Something like this, I really don't think can be understated how important this kind of thing can be for the Chicago Bears. I think a lot of times when people view stuff like this, they kind of think of it as just a nice afterthought and an additional plus, but this can be a huge way to move the ball down the field. So this is the 3rd down and 5, and the Packers are playing man coverage right here, which means that Justin Fields could potentially run with the football on this play. Because, of course, in this coverage, so you have 7 guys in coverage on a typical play. In zone, all 7 are looking at the quarterback. In man, 5 of them have to look at their eligible receiver, meaning that only 2 guys in coverage are really looking at Fields. One is the deep safety, who's too far away from the first down marker to matter really on a 3rd down and 5. So all that's really left is the defensive lineman and a linebacker who's going to cover the middle of the field. And so when Fields takes the snap right here, you notice that really good block to allow him to basically be able to move up in the pocket. That was by Jason Peters, who, listen, Peters has gotten a lot of blame this year. I don't think he's been that bad. I actually think he's been solid from what I've seen of him. But, regardless, good job there to allow Fields to now be able to scramble if he wants to. I've circled the linebacker who could potentially come up and tackle Fields, but this is where it gets a little bit tricky, right? Because he's moved to the offense's right since he's, there's a route there. He wants to make sure he covers that up. So it's like, what do you do? Do you not cover any receivers? And if he runs, then you're good. But if he throws, then you're in trouble. Or do you make sure you potentially are in position to stop Justin Fields when he runs, but then you're hurting yourself in the passing game? So either way, you're losing something when there's an offensive player, an offensive quarterback who can run with the football as well as Fields can. As you see, Fields is going to be able to rush here and pick up this first down. That's just something that he's always going to have in his game, and it forces opposing teams to sometimes have to play specific coverages. So you're getting a huge advantage just with that alone. Being able to run the football, you're already going to get a huge advantage. Something like this was really just an impressive play. This is kind of what people like about Fields, it's stuff like this, where it's going to be a zone coverage play. And what you're going to do is you're going to have a receiver who's, I believe this is cover 2. It might be cover 3. I'm not sure exactly, but he's going to try and get into a gap in coverage in that area regardless. And watch how when Fields takes this snap, runs a play action, he's going to make this throw. And what you're going to see is, there is not a big window. I paused it right here. There's not a big window for Fields to make this throw. This is going to have to be really an incredible catch because there isn't a ton of separation, but that's what Fields is trying to do. He's trying to put it in a tough spot so only his receiver can make the catch. This is going to be just a perfect throw. There's no denying it that when Fields makes a great throw, it is as pretty of a ball as you'll see in the NFL, and that was, in my opinion, a great throw right there. Didn't work out, wasn't complete, but I don't really view it that way. The quarterback can't catch the ball himself. All he can do is throw the ball. So to me, that's a great play. And again, you can argue kind of some of he got a little lucky in certain areas. But the flip side is, what if his receiver makes this catch? Then it looks better. And even like, let's look at one of those quote unquote lucky plays. I mean, one of those big touchdowns was legitimately just like one of those push passes where you kind of just throw it up a little bit and your wide receiver, usually on a jet sweep motion, takes it and gets a ton of, they got a big rushing touchdown that's technically ruled a pass. Those ones I've always kind of wondered, why don't we just rule those rushes? They basically are rushes, but nevertheless, this play is kind of, somewhat similar, where you could argue, hey, it's a similar idea, where it's going to be a lot of just it working out more so than Fields actually throwing a touchdown here. But Fields still does stuff right to allow this to happen. It's going to be a man coverage play. Worth noting, though, that there's only two safeties deep, as that's what they're showing, but one of the safeties is going to pick up a back right here. So actually, there's only going to be one safety who stays deep. The other player covering the middle of the field will be a linebacker who is showing as though he's blitzing. He's going to drop back, though. Actually showing as though he's going to cover the halfback lined up to Fields' left, but then he's going to drop back. This is going to be Damiere Byrd, who, okay, you could argue, well, he's not like the most electric wide receiver in the NFL, but the nice thing that he has going for him is because he was lined up in the backfield, you just you get an inherent advantage because they have a safety now on him. It's Henry Black who's covering Byrd, so that gives you just that inherent advantage. Watch how when Fields takes this snap, this was Fields' read all the way. Fields was not really looking anywhere else. He glanced over for a second, I think just to check and see if this was in fact cleared out. So yes, you could sit here and argue, well, what has Fields done really other than hit his first read that was open? But I think it's very important to look at, and this is kind of the Tua argument of, okay, maybe this isn't the highest degree of difficulty throw. However, if Fields misses this one even a little bit, Byrd still probably makes the catch and probably gets the first down, but that could be it. However, it's such a perfect throw that Byrd makes the grab while still, staying at a top speed and being able to eventually, at the pause it here for copyright, but eventually he's going to get into the end zone for a touchdown. And that's just, again, is it great stuff by Byrd? Is it kind of, one of those really good play call by Matt Nagy? Yeah, sure, all of that stuff, absolutely. But Fields also doing his part. So how much credit do you want to give Fields for that? I don't know. That's up for debate, but I don't think he deserves zero credit for this play is my main point. Let's talk about that pick six. This was a tough one. I mean, the other interception, I think you could argue he was trying to make stuff happen late in the game. It is what it is. And even the fumble, which was not great, I thought was in large part some more just one of those fluky plays that happened to go against you. This one was clearly a bad play by Justin Fields. But let's talk about it and let's sort of explain what happened. And this was kind of it's a rookie mistake. It's not one that Fields has been alone in making this year. Lawrence and Wilson have made a number of these in their own right. Really, I guess Davis Mills hasn't made too many of these, but he's made some as well. And definitely, Mac Jones has been very good at this stuff. But other than that, the rookie quarterbacks have struggled with this kind of thing. The way it works, it's a zone coverage play, and you see on paper how this could work. There is that little gap right there. The issue is Rasul Douglas, who's the deep corner, who's kind of just playing a little bit further deep than where the route is going to cut at. He can read this play, especially with it being, the ball is snapped onto hash marks towards the bottom of the screen, throw to the top of the screen, so a bit tougher of an angle. And really, if you're going to make this throw, you have to make sure Douglas isn't in the area. And, one way you do that is you have like a receiver who runs deep and tries to take that away. It looked like that's what they were hoping was going to happen on this play, but it's just tough. Fields is going to take the snap, and really one thing you want Fields to do is look somewhere else, use his eyes a little bit. That's something that just comes with age. And the other thing is just get it there quickly. He didn't really throw a bullet. He kind of put some air under it, which is not what you want to have happen. Douglas is going to be able to make the catch right there, and then he's going to be able to get the pick six as well. So again, good play by Douglas, but these are just kind of the rookie errors that you do have to learn and grow from. If you are Justin Fields, which, hopefully he can. So yeah, that's kind of what I think. Listen, maybe I've been on this platform for over 3 years now. I got my 100K plaque now, and I think the one thing that I probably have maybe done a poor job at so far is jumping to conclusions when it comes to young quarterbacks. You got to give them time. I've been guilty of writing quarterbacks off too early in the past, and that's kind of maybe my biggest flaw, so I'm trying to not have that be a flaw of my scouting and of my, I find it weird saying scouting. I'm not a scout, I'm a YouTuber, but of my YouTube videos is that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be patient with Fields. We saw some really good stuff. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.